The U.S. Justice Department recently announced that it was ending its civil rights investigation into the Phoenix Police Department. It was one of a number of such police investigations around the country that the DOJ, under the Trump administration, ended. Joining us now is Michael White, an ASU professor and associate director of the ASU Center for Violence Prevention and Community Safety. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us here. Your initial thoughts when you heard the Justice Department said we're out of here?
You know, Ted, well, first, thanks for having me. But my initial thought was I wasn't surprised at all. That during the first Trump administration, more or less the same thing happened. So I think it's important to recognize that the dismissal of the investigation in Phoenix, and as you said, in a number of other cities, is a political one. It has nothing to do with the merits of the investigation or the evidence or anything like that. It's simply based on the really the philosophical position of the Trump administration. They believe the U.S. Department of Justice should not be involved in the investigation and oversight of local police departments.
And not only that, but correct me if I'm wrong, the constitutional violations that were found, those have been retracted, correct?
If you read the report, the DOJ findings report of the results of the investigation of the Phoenix Police Department, that it's a damn report. The report alleges significant, deep organizational problems involving use of force, involving how the department responded to protests, how they handled cases involving homeless individuals. The allegations were significant. They were serious. And as we know, the police department and the city council, they disputed most of those allegations. So, at this point, we had an investigation that took more than 3 years to complete, which is a problem in and of itself. A significant amount of resources devoted to that investigation, a ton of concerning issues raised, and now it's all gone. So, I think that the real question is whether or not the Phoenix Police Department made significant improvements during that time that the investigation was being carried out. They brought in a reform-minded police chief who had experience in Baltimore, going through a consent decree, a federal oversight process, and the department has alleged that they've addressed many of the concerns that were raised in that report. And since the investigation's over, since there will be no further um, uh, you know, investigation or oversight at all, we really don't know whether that's true or not. So that, it's a big question, I think, at this point.
I was going to ask, is the Justice Department saying that by saying these never were problems, or are they saying these aren't problems now?
I think what they're saying is they're essentially pulling back, and I believe they're not weighing in on the merits of the evidence or the investigation. They're simply saying, we're not going to do this. This is not something that we're interested in engaging in. And like I said, the Trump administration had done that previously. And like I said, it's really a philosophical position that they've taken. They don't believe the federal government should be involved in this kind of work. They believe that when local police departments in misconduct, that it should be handled at the local level. It should not involve a DOJ, a federal response, and that's the position.
At the local level now, there has been, as you mentioned, attempts to reform, as at least that's what we have heard, this Road to Reform report from the Phoenix Police Department. What is the impact of all of this on policing in Phoenix?
I think the usually when this process has happened, that there's an investigation and a findings letter issued. Usually, what has happened is that the city and police department almost immediately begin negotiations with the Department of Justice, and the city of Phoenix and the Phoenix Police Department took a very unusual position in that when that letter was issued, those findings were publicized. They objected to it. They decided to fight it, and it turns out that was a good decision for them, because with the election and then Trump's philosophical position on this, it's all gone away now.
They didn't. They did, and again, they not only said that they would fight it, they called it a smear campaign. And now the new U.S. attorney for Arizona called it a, quote, unjust investigation. Does that ring true to you?
It's hard to say. One of there are lots of criticisms of the DOJ investigation process generally, and we see those play out in what happened in Phoenix. The fact that it took 3.5 years to complete the investigation, in my view, is ridiculous. You can't take that long to complete the investigation. The other thing is, the investigation is completed by attorneys. It's not completed by social scientists who have expertise in data analysis and sophisticated kinds of analyses that would, I think, uh, make a stronger case or not for whether the allegations are true. So, it's really hard to say whether uh, the most serious allegations that are alleged in that report, whether they had any merit or not. And the Road to Reform report, it's an excellent read. It looks like the department acknowledged a lot of the issues of concern. And these are deep organizational issues involving recruitment, training, supervision, accountability. And, in many cases, the federal oversight process exists because police departments often will not change unless compelled to do so. And I guess what we'll see now over the next several years is whether Phoenix is going to make those changes on their own.
Indeed, the consent decree was one thing, but having a Justice Department that says, we find this is not our responsibility or not something that we should get involved in is quite another. Michael White, again, ASU Center for Violence Prevention and Community Safety. Good conversation. Good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Take care.